This is the Prestigious Initiative. Welcome. I'm Chris Bean. And today we're going to dive into one of the most important, powerful concepts of self-improvement, the power of the micro habit. These small intentional actions may seem trivial, but when they're done consistently, they'll create an intentional momentum and transformation in your life. Ready to start mastering these small habits, these small things that will make a big difference? Let's get into it. So, what exactly are micro habits? Well, micro habits are really tiny behaviors that lead to perform that are easy to perform and easy to maintain. They are essentially kind of bite-sized habits or practices that you can incorporate into your daily life without feeling overwhelmed. Instead of focusing on huge, daunting goals, these micro habits allow you to break those goals down into small, actionable steps. You can think of it this way. If you wanted to write a book, you don't have to start with writing the entire thing. Like, you're not going to sit down in one setting and, okay, I'm going to write down this, and then that's not going to happen all in one sitting. Just start by writing 50 words, right? Then as you get stronger, you can increase that to maybe 75 words and so on. It'd be the same thing like doing push-ups. If you could do, a billion push-ups in one day, that's great. But really, you want to make it a micro, small, easy to maintain, easy to do every day. Start with one push-up, right? These micro habits they may seem insignificant, but they have the power to create lasting change. So, why do these micro habits work so well? Well, really, the answer lies in how our brains are wired. Habits are formed through repetition and consistency. However, when we set big goals, we often face resistance because our brains perceive them as being too difficult or too time consuming. That's where this micro habit comes in. They allow you to bypass this mental resistance because really the action is so small. It doesn't trigger the fight or flight response. It doesn't feel like it's a huge, daunting task. It feels easy because it's really small, easy to do. And the beauty of these micro habits is because they compound over time. Just like how investing in small amounts of money consistently grows your wealth, investing small amounts of effort consistently will grow these habits. This compounding effect can lead to major breakthroughs without even realizing it at first. Now, let's talk about some examples of micro habits that you can start incorporating into your life today, right now. Here's a few ideas. If you wanted to improve your health, start with doing one push up or drink one more glass of water. You can do these in the morning. Get up out of bed, lay down. Okay, one push up. Pow. All right, good. Or drink that one glass. This is something I like to do. I like to have a bottle of water that I fill up at night before I go to bed. Most of the time I don't drink it through the night, but I wake up first thing in the morning and I drink that bottle of water. That way I get it done out of the way, first one, as soon as I start the day. If you're looking to boost your productivity, try writing down one goal for each day, right? Start in the morning or even the night before. Write down, okay, what is the one thing I want to accomplish today? Or if you're doing it the night before, what is the one thing I want to accomplish for tomorrow? If mindfulness is what you seek, spend 1 minute each day focusing on your breath and practicing gratitude. These actions are so small that they're almost impossible to resist. Like one push up. Anybody's got time to do one push up. Everybody pretty much can do one push up. One push up, right? That's it. That's easy. The key is doing it consistently over and over and over again. When you do these things every day, they'll start to add up and they'll build momentum. Before you know it, you'll have formed a solid habit that will carry on through these bigger goals. All right, now you might be wondering, how do I make these micro habits stick? Here's a simple strategy that you can implement these micro habits and make them effective, right? Start small. Like the name suggests, again, keep these habits so tiny that they seem effortless. Attach this micro habit to an existing habit or routine. This is called habit stacking. For example, if you already brush your teeth in the morning, by the way, I hope you're brushing your teeth every morning, every day. If you're already brushing your teeth in the morning, For example, you already have your teeth brushing in the morning. Attach one of those micro habits to that routine. Okay, so you get up, you do whatever you're going to do, you go brush your teeth. All right, after, like, that's the signal. You're brushing your teeth. All right, great. Now, after I brush my teeth, I'm going to go down, I'm going to get done one push-up. Then you go on through your day. Or, whatever that habit is, that micro habit, you brush your teeth. Okay, I'm going to focus on my breathing here. 1 minute, I'm going to focus on my breathing in through the nose, deep into my belly, into my diaphragm, and then slowly back out, right? After you brush your teeth, that's the signal, right? You stack this tiny little micro habit with that habit or the routine that you already have. Another thing is to celebrate your wins, even though this action is small. The reward should be meaningful. After you complete your micro habit, give yourself a mental high five or a small reward. Now, listen, you have to be careful with this, because if you are trying to lose weight, you're trying to be more healthy, doing these small micro habits. Okay, great. I did my one push-up. Great. I'm going to have this candy bar now. Okay, well, then you're kind of getting out of whack, out of balance a little bit. So you got to be mindful about how you're doing this, right? You can have these small rewards, but make sure the rewards don't offset that habit that you're trying to build. Now, these rewards will help to reinforce these micro habits. It'll reinforce this positive type behavior. And another thing is, of course, track your progress. Keeping track of a streak can be motivating, whether it's through habit tracking or a simple check mark on a calendar. Right? We talked about this before. Jerry Seinfeld likes to do this. We called this before, the Seinfeld method. On your calendar, any day that you do whatever the thing is, whatever the new habit, the new daily practice is, you put an X on your calendar. And you want to have a consistent flow. All the calendar, all the X's are filled. There's no empty days, right? And that will help to give you a visual representation of your momentum. You don't want to break the streak. You got to put that X on the calendar. Okay, drop down, do that one push-up, right? Track your progress. You have another, if you have like a journal that you're already keeping, really easy. Put a tick in there, right? Like, okay, this is the area. If I put an X on this side of the page, okay, that means I know I did. Listen, again, try not to overwhelm it. Don't make this tracking, because some people really go really in depth with all this. You don't have to be real crazy with it. Just an X on the calendar, right? And your journal that you're already doing, put an X on the corner of the page, right? It doesn't have to be real crazy. The easier it is, the more consistent you're going to be able to stay with it. If it's too big, the whole thing that we're talking about today is be micro, small, little things, right? So don't make this tracking too in depth, too overwhelming. Make it easy. Now, the habit, these micro habits really kind of have some magic, right? And that is the compound effect. Think about how compound interest works with your finances. Small, consistent growth over time leads to something substantial. The same habit or the same principle applies to these micro habits. Let's say that you start by doing one push-up every single day. Well, just in case you didn't know, there's 365 days in a year. So if you do that consistently every day for a year, that means you would have done 365 push-ups in 1 year. But guess what? Once you get into the groove of doing one push-up a day, it becomes easier to add 2 or 3 or 4, eventually 5, and so on. Right? You'll find that yourself doing a full workout without feeling overwhelmed, because this momentum, because this compounding interest is so easy to do one push-up, to read one page out of your book, right? How many people are going to go to the gym and walk on the treadmill for 1 minute and say, okay, yep, I'm done, right? If you make the barrier to entry to this goal so small, so easy to do, then, well, you know what? I might as well read another page. Oh, that was good. Let's read another page. Oh, one push-up? That's easy. I'm down here already. Might as well do a couple of them, right? That's where the power of these micro habits come into place. This momentum that you feel from the start, this tiny thing, will carry you forward. This compounding effect happens in every area of your life, whether it's fitness, productivity, learning, or personal development. These tiny actions add up. By the time you realize it, you're miles ahead of where you would have been when you started, or if you hadn't started at all, simply because you focus on these small, consistent steps instead of trying to take gigantic leaps forward. I want to touch on something important here. Perfectionism. Many of us have the tendency to think that you have to do something perfectly. And if you can't do it perfectly, then you shouldn't do it at all. Listen, these micro habits challenge that mindset. They remind us that progress is more important than perfection. And a side note of perfection, I always like to talk about this. Anytime perfection comes up, we are human. You're human. I'm human. Humans do very little, if anything, perfectly. So if you're shooting for perfection, if you're striving for perfection, understand that you will be letting yourself down every time. We can't reach perfect. There's one perfect person, Jesus, and he died on the cross. We can't be Jesus. Don't try to be Jesus. You are not perfect, right? Just do the work. Get it done. Get that X on the calendar and then move on. Don't strive for perfection. If you miss a day, it's okay. Start over tomorrow. These micro habits are forgiving. They allow you to reset without feeling discouraged because it's one push-up. Oh, you know what? I missed my one push-up today. That's okay. I'll do 2 tomorrow. You know what? I might as well I'll do 4 tomorrow. Double it up. Okay, fine. No problem. Right? Really easy. Right? If you miss a day, it's not at the end of the world. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. Remember, it's not about being perfect. Right? I can't say that. Can't overstate that enough, right? It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up consistently, even in the smallest of ways. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with this. Small actions lead to big results. It's easy to overlook the power of these micro habits because they seem so minor, but over time, they'll make a huge impact. What micro habit would you like to start today? Right? Is it 1 minute of meditation, one push-up, writing down one single goal for you to strive for tomorrow, reading one page in a book? Whatever it is, just start. Keep showing up no matter how small the effort may seem. Keep at it. And listen, listeners, I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of the Precede Us Initiative. Remember, greatness is built from the foundation of small, consistent actions. Until next time, keep moving forward one step at a time.